Hi, Jody Dean here, spiritual coach. And in this video, I'm going to share 5 signs that you're having a spiritual awakening. So, welcome to my channel. If this is the first time you've seen any of my videos, it is always my intention to serve and to help you understand your spiritual awakening, your soul purpose, who you are, why you're here, and to navigate the great shift, the great ascension process, the planetary up-leveling in consciousness that is happening. It's been prophesied and predicted by at least 35 different native cultures, and it's happening, guys. Do you feel it? So here we are. It is always my intention as well to help you understand that you are the infinite vastness of being itself, a bit like this view here, again on the wonderful island of Crete, magical place that it is, navel of the earth, they say. Anyway, okay, sign number 1 that you're having a spiritual awakening is that you start connecting the dots, you start finding the synchronicities, and you're mildly obsessed with them. So it could be that you keep bumping into the same person in the street or at work or something, and it's like, what is the reason why we keep bumping into each other? This is not random. There is something going on here. What are the probabilities? The odds are probably like 100,000 trillion to 1 that I keep bumping into this person, right? And so you start going, okay, what is behind this? Is there a message? Is there a teaching? Is there a learning? Do we have a gift for one another? Do I need to learn something from them? Are they bringing me something, right, that I need to take notice of? It could be, for example, number synchronicities, seeing the triplicity of numbers, or 1111s. You keep on noticing them on your phone, on your watch, on your clock. It could be specific number sequences that are happening. You might be connecting the dots in other ways that are more broad, like you keep seeing the same sign somewhere. Blackbirds keep turning up in your experience, whether they're in a painting or in a book or they're in the tree in front of you. And it's like, okay, what does blackbird medicine have to tell me, right? So there are myriad things that this can happen, myriad ways that your connecting the dots behavior can show up. And that, to me, guys, is a sure sign that you're having a spiritual awakening. Okay, number 2, your intuition is getting amped up. You are starting to have ideas come to you that you don't know where they're from. They're almost like they're from the higher mind. You're going, okay, this is a really fabulous, inspirational idea, and I've kind of been given it from somewhere, and wow, and then you put it into practice and it works. It turns out great. You take action on it. So not only are you having the intuition, but you're also trusting it. It could be that you're starting to tune into other people's thoughts. You're hearing other people's thoughts. You might be experiencing telepathy. You might feel someone's emotions who's close to you or around you, your lover, your mother, your partner, your child, your work colleague. You might hear guidance come in from a spirit guide, words. I once had that when I was, crazy story, true story, when I was trekking in Nepal and I got lost and I found myself at the top of a rock face and trying to get down this rock face, and failing, grabbed onto this tree, and this tree was then starting to come out of the rock face, all the soil coming out, and it was just only a matter of time before I was going to fall. And just this voice said, let go. It was like, let go. And I did, and I let go gracefully, and I rolled down the side of this rock face and ended up at the bottom, probably about 40 foot, and I was great. I was fine. I was hyperventilating. I had a little scratch on my arm, but I was fine. I could have broken my neck, died right there and then, or been paralyzed or something, and left for dead. It was in the middle of nowhere. There was nowhere around. I was way away from any paths or tracks. Properly lost. Probably never going to do that again. Anyway, so that was guidance that came in, I don't know, from my guardian angel or from my guides. It's very strong. And you may have that. You might start hearing literally, the odd word or the odd suggestion. We have clairaudience, it's called, which is, you can have interior clairaudience and external clairaudience. Internal is more like there's a voice inside your head that is giving you information, giving you guidance. I'm not talking about crazy stuff, schizophrenia here. I'm not talking about the voices. No, I'm talking about your inner tuition, right? When you're open to your inner tuition and you have that silence inside you, that calm inside you, where you're able to hear the voice of your intuition, the voice of your spirit guides, the voice of your angels. Okay, this is a real thing. It's a real phenomenon. Books have been written about this specific thing. Many experience it who are tuned in. They may not talk about it, but they certainly experience it. And the other aspect to that intuition, the clairaudience, is the external clairaudience, where you literally hear a voice outside of you, literally as if a person is standing next to you and they are saying words. Some people have that. You might be having it too. This could be a sign of your spiritual awakening happening. Okay. Sign number 3 that you're having a spiritual awakening. And by the way, sign number 5 is counterintuitive, so brace yourselves and wait for it. But sign number 3 that you're having a spiritual awakening is that you are starting to disidentify with the lower self. You're disidentifying with the shadow self, with the ego personality, the personality matrix that makes up this kind of identity of, I am this person named Charlotte or John, and I live in London or New York, and I do this as a profession, and I am white and middle class or black and upper class or whatever it is, right? And you find yourself slipping in and out of that. Like 1 minute, oh my God, yes, I am kind of like fully in the matrix. I'm fully in the 3D, and I'm like embodying this personality, and I am this personality and think I am. And maybe the next minute you're not. You're like, I am watching myself. I am watching this personality do these things, have these conversations with people. I am aware of this personality, but I am not this personality. I am not this persona. I am not this identity. I am beyond this identity. And you start to experience yourself as greater than this identity. You start to experience yourself as something more infinite, something more expanded, a consciousness, a presence. And so you're flitting in and out between the full identification with the personality and an observance space where you are aware of this personality, and actually it's freeing, and you're like, oh my God, I'm not this thing. And that can, you can dance in and out of that for years, decades, your whole life. Or it might be something that happens for a while, and then you go back to sleep, as it will, and get fully identified again with the personality, and that's totally fine. I mean, whatever floats your boat. I've definitely had that. I've had periods of all of what I've just mentioned, and I'm so glad I'm not there anymore. So glad. It's so liberating to know yourself as the infinite. It is so liberating, but don't take my word for it. Check it out for yourself. Perhaps you too are the infinite. Something to check out, something to lean into. Okay, sign number 4 that you are having a spiritual awakening. What is it, Jody? What is it? Come on, give me sign number 4. What is it? Your heart is open. Your heart is opening. You are having a bursting open of the heart. That might be helped by, for example, falling in love with someone. falling in love with a place, a space, a magical island, a teacher, your family, your children, animals, nature, a pet, a cause, yourself. How about that? Falling in love with yourself. Falling in love with the truth. Falling in love with healing. Falling in love with awakening itself. Falling in love with the path. Falling in love with your guru. Falling in love with the holy madness of divine consciousness. Falling in love with falling in love, where everything just becomes roses and fragrance. As you disappear, the raindrop, the water drop becomes the ocean. So this is a heart awakening, and this can be a sign that you're having a spiritual awakening at the same time, because it can be a spontaneous, organic side effect of spiritual awakening, of knowing and understanding that you are more than this limited self. And the heart being the bridge between the higher self and the lower self, the heart being the bridge between heaven and earth, the heart being the bridge between spirit and matter. It is the bridge, it is the fourth chakra of the seven, and it is this holy, holy bridge right here that can be expanding, can be awakening if you're having a spiritual awakening. And it's a great sign that you are having a spiritual awakening if this heart is opening and blooming like a flower, like a rose, compassion seeping out of you, spaciousness happening around you as you allow this compassion to emanate, this loving kindness for all beings to emanate, and for yourself. Don't forget yourself, never forget yourself. Self comes first, because you can't overflow if you're not full. So yes, and then number 5, the 5th sign that you're having a spiritual awakening is that you are no longer, wait for it, afraid of death. You are no longer worried about dying. And what I mean by that is, particularly about old age, right? Oh, at some point, I'm mortal. I'm going to suddenly die at some point, and this is all going to an end. It is going to end, right? So it can be a sure sign that you're having a spiritual awakening if you are no longer, or starting to be no longer, concerned by the idea of your own mortality, by the idea of death, because you are starting to die, or have died already. You are dying before you die, which is of course what the great Sufi master Rumi said, or was it Hafiz? I can't remember quite, but whoever it was a wonderful, wise thing to share, because that is ultimately the spiritual awakening journey, is dying before you die, dying to the lower self and awakening to the higher self, awakening to the true identity of you as the eternal, infinite now. You as everything, the all that is, source itself, in a unique, individualized expression of consciousness. So when you are awakening like this, and you are dying to the lower self, the ego personality, that also can manifest as no longer being afraid of death itself, physical death, because it is also symbolic and metaphoric for the greater death of the idea of separateness, the idea of being this personality that is holding on to whatever it can possess and have and manipulate, and it's letting go of that. And letting go of that fear of death is definitely an indicator that you are having a broader spiritual awakening. In fact, the whole we just had Greek Easter here, and of course it's big, thick with the resurrection kind of idea and energy and story, and that is actually beautiful metaphor for the death of the self, and also these ancient rituals that were about basically dying to the self, and burying yourself in a coffin and sarcophagus in the pyramid and all that sort of stuff, and then being reborn and basically coming out and dying to your lower self ultimately. So it's about illumination. So I hope this has been interesting and helpful video. If you have anything to share around this, please do comment. I do reply to comments, and like and subscribe and share this video if you're on the YouTubes. So yes, thank you so much. I've been Jody Dean. Love you so much. Take care. See you in the next video. Bye for now. Take care. You are infinite.